Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A little while ago, a brother on Instagram named Karim Koscenda, I believe that's how you say his last name, my brother Karim, and he made a video on his Instagram praising the work that the cult leader MubarakGillani, the former leader of the cult of TMOA, or the Muslims of America, because of our work that we do with combating spiritual abuse in the Ummah and deviant leaders and cult groups. Several of us, myself included, and other people reached out to him, private messaged him, and in the comment sections of the videos, basically informing him of the truth of MubarakGillani. So, and he made some response videos, and I'm just going to go through the videos just to give some context. Thankfully, because we reached out to him and he did the right thing, he took the video down. I see it's not up there anymore. But I'm going to go through that video because I know the members of the cult have since grabbed that video and are promoting it in their internal circles. So we just want to make sure that we protect the Ummah and protect other Muslims from deviant cult leaders and deviant groups like the Muslims of America, MubarakGillani, and the TMOA cult.
Saying MubarakGillani from Pakistan was an amazing Sufi master.
So that's the first thing. He starts off and said he's an amazing Sufi master. So the truth is that in Sufism, or Tariqa, you have to have some kind of credibility or credentials. And MubarakGillani did not have any such thing.
And he started a number of Muslim communities outside of major cities where we taught people Islam.
That's another false statement, because the idea that MubarakGillani started all these communities outside of the cities is actually false, because the Darul Islam group, the group that he took over, was actually already doing that before MubarakGillani came into the picture.
Islam through his work.
And another false statement, MubarakGillani actually didn't convert anybody to Islam. The people that follow him were already Muslim. And through the many decades of the group existing, you could probably count on your hand how many people the group is responsible for converting to Islam. It's not that many.
This man changed the lives of thousands.
Well, it's kind of true. He did change the life of thousands of people by deviating them from the true path of Islam to a deviant, false path of Islam and falsehood, oppressing them, subjugating them, abusing them, and taking advantage of them. So he did affect people's lives negatively, but the context of what he was originally putting in as far as positive impact on thousands of lives, he did not do that. And then Kareem, because of the multiple people reaching out to him, he made a response video, and we'll cover that in the next portion of this. Okay, part two. This is where he actually made a response video due to people reaching out to him, people trying to support MubarakGillani, and people actually telling him the truth about MubarakGillani. And then he made a response video to some of the accusations that was made to him. I believe personally the video was a little bit soft, but it was good enough for the people that do have an open mind and have an open heart to actually see the truth of the group, and hopefully they can take the right steps to free themselves and get on the correct path of practicing proper Islam and to free themselves from that cult group. So we'll just get right into it.
MubarakGillani and TMOA controversy response. The criticism I've heard centers around number one, the 7 sultans of the belief attributed to Sultan. The second issue as community issue, and then allegations that I don't want to get into because I'm not a competent legal authority. Those allegations that I'm not going to mention, those are not things that anyone else probably can determine without due legal process.
So he breaks it down to 3 main issues. He talks about the 7 sultan belief, which is one of the big things. And he says community issues. And then he says the third one is about legal issues. And he doesn't want to get into that because he's not a legal authority, which is fine. I mean, you got to remember, he's getting all this information from pretty much, we're all strangers to him. So he's not going to make any, clear condemnation or whatever. What I would ask as well, that he didn't make the promotional video for him without having the clear evidence as well. So, but hopefully, we'll clear that up. We do plan on interviewing him next Sunday. So inshallah, you guys can tune in for that. But But again, three main issues: the seven soul belief, the community issues, and the legal issues. When he's talking about the legal issues, he's talking about the terrorism. He's talking about the assassinations. He's talking about the condoned crimes and all those different things. So let's go. Let's keep it going.
Seven Sultan's belief attributed to Sultan Bahu. Solid with truth has things in it.
That totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. He went into a long thing about whether the book can be properly attributed to Sultan Bahu or not, which is actually kind of irrelevant in this context. The real point is whether people in TMOA cult or MubarakGillani actually teach it, and he does mention that.
The men of Allah, people of Allah, all of Allah himself is both valid. Guys, you people hearing me, we're all Muslims. We know that this is. Told you.
So, and that, again, very clear. Someone outsider, third party, someone who reads this, you could tell we've been saying this for years now. Anybody that has a sound, basic understanding of Islam will read that and say this is not correct. The problem is that the people in TMOA actually do not practice or follow the religion of Islam. They follow the religion of MubarakGillani. It's whatever their sheikh said. So it doesn't matter whatever they find from the Quran and the Sunnah that contradicts their belief. If their sheikh said it, they believe it. So what we're trying to do is reach out to people that actually want to follow Islam and not stick to the practices of their forefathers or the practices of their sheikh, even if it goes against Islam. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Do we have 100% proof that Sayyid Mubarak Shah meant those?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Which is irrelevant. Again, we have proof. We sent them the proof. Of course, I'm pretty sure he didn't have time or didn't bother to go through all of it. Like we've sent him videos that hours long, our old shows. But the proof is there. We gave him the proof. Whether he had time to look at it all or digest it, Allah knows best. But for those of you who have been following TMOA or following Return to Fitra, know that we have presented plenty of proof when we're actually condoning teaching these books exactly how they're presenting in the books. And all the people that are in the group, they know this as well, right? You see, he had the screenshot there of the nasheeds or the daruds that are sang after every single Juma that the sheikh allegedly wrote, which is in clear proof that the sheikh taught it or believed it. But those that were in the group that are from the group, we know this is a fact. When you hear people say he is who he says he is, they're talking about him saying that he's the sixth sultan. And we have video discourses, we have transcripts, we have his book that he wrote where he talks about it. So there's plenty of proof that's out there. So we know this is an established fact.
If he subscribed to these beliefs that we just mentioned in the earlier video, in that kufri sense, that is the problem.
Again, he says it really quick, straight up. If he subscribes to this, is a problem. And he did. Like I said, very clearly he did.
A sign of a true sheikh, and he gives more than he can take.
So he says the sign of a true sheikh is that he gives more than he takes. And we know this is not true in the case of MubarakGillani or even the current leadership. We know that MubarakGillani became a millionaire off of TMOA. We have very core evidence. We have videos. We have audios of his descendants after he passed away fighting over an inheritance of millions and millions of dollars. They're fighting over literally gold bars. You have MubarakGillani, who was living in the lap of luxury while his community over in America lived in poverty. And some people have risen up and gotten good careers, have been able to upgrade their living conditions, but the majority of the community to this day live in poverty while he lived in luxury. And his family currently lives in luxury and travels the world. So it's very clear that the leadership, including MubarakGillani, they took more than they gave, in contrast to what Prophet Muhammad SAW did and the examples of leadership that we have in the the guided caliphs.
Don't take fees as their student. But if it was going to enrich the leadership of a movement, that's an issue, guys. That it's a red flag according to me.
Okay, and he says it's a red flag if your sheikh or your leadership are taking fees for you to be part of the group. And we're not talking about community fees, because in TMOA, they have a thing where they pay 10%. I think it's still 10%. At one time, it was 100%, depending what era of the cult you lived in. But they give a portion of their income that goes directly to the leadership, that they hand out to stipends, that usually just the leadership takes most of it up. Then there's separate community fees they handles the things that go on in a community, like paving the roads, dealing with the schools and all that. And just to give a quick example of, the leadership taking more than they give, the community at one point was trying to build a school, and they were trying to raise funds from the community, and they basically guilt tripped everybody in the community because the sheikh, who was a millionaire, donated $1,000 to the school. Well, mind you, it was $1,000 of the community's money that he donated back for the school, and they tried to make everybody feel guilty, like, oh, the sheikh gave so much, $1,000 for a school. So again, it's a red flag if you're having to pay for guidance, right? If you're having to pay for tasawwuf, Sufism, knowledge, whatever, just to have a sheikh, and it's enriching them, then that's the problem. It's one thing if you have an imam and or a sheikh, and it's fine for them to take fees and they're living because that's what they do for a living. But if you're enriching them and they're getting filthy rich and you're getting poor as a result of it, that's a problem. If you aren't required to pay zakat, but you're required to pay a fee just to say that you belong or you follow a certain sheikh, that's a problem.
Another one that came up was that it's a cult.
Yes, it's called.
Stories about people in marriages being forcibly broken up are true.
Yes, that's true. Happened to me, happened to other people I know. So very true.
Stories about people's private lives being heavily.
Very true. The sheikh was very involved in people's lives. People wouldn't make major decisions without his input, to the point of like they'd buy certain types of chickens if he told them to buy their chickens. They wouldn't go to school, or they drop out of school or leave jobs, divorce people. We have plenty of examples of this.
Stories about if someone asks a question that is deemed a bad question, that they're ostracized, that they're harmed, that their name and honor are harmed. That's haram to do to a Muslim.
Exactly what happened to me and plenty others that have asked questions or spoke up or tried to challenge the authority and get people to follow the correct version of Islam. These are things that all happen that we know to be true.
Don't see prophetic character, you see pharaonic character, that they behave like little pharaoh.
And that's exactly what we have here in the cult of TMOA. Even with the lower leadership, they all are very abusive, they're oppressive, they're very short tempers, they insult people, they assault people, and all these different things. So very clearly, I'm glad he released those videos. For those that have hearts that are open, they should be able to see through that he's directly speaking against the cult group. He took like a middle road because, that's that for his position that he's in, that's an appropriate route to take. But for those of us who know, we know all the things that he was asking questions about was to get you to start thinking about these things that we know to be true. So again, for everybody that doesn't know, MubarakGillani is not the great guy that you might have seen in that first video that he posted that thankfully he has taken down. And the TM members are a deviant Sufi group, cult that you should stay away from. With that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for more content on preventing spiritual abuse and strengthening leadership in the Ummah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.